Scams and fraud are now the UK's most common crimes. Over the last year, they cost us £2.4 billion. And 61% of Brits say they've been targeted by a scam at least once a month.
I've got a really sick feeling that I've been scammed.
Tonight, the scammers who steal your charity donations. But people were thinking, I like her content, I want to give to her fund.
Yeah.
And it was going to scammers.
Yeah.
And impersonate selfless campaigners. Here he is, dressed as Pudsey the Bear from Children in Need, collecting money for himself, without caring who they hurt.
I feel like I was in some kind of tunnel of grief. I'm only really coming out of it now.
The good news is, it is possible to fight back if you know how.
Usually it's a young person's funeral that is targeted.
I've even been able to clone myself. I've been able to fool people that are very close to me.
Whether you're approached in the street...
Would you want to scan this QR code to help endangered animals?
...or on your phone.
I need to pay £2,744 in total.
We'll help ensure you don't donate your money to a scammer.
Thank you, Lexus.
No scammer was going to derail us from celebrating the life of somebody we love so dearly.
We're going to arm you with the tips, the tricks, and the techniques to spot the scammers coming and make sure that you don't get caught out. The charity sector in England and Wales alone is worth more than £90 billion a year. That's a target-rich environment for criminals to exploit, well, us, for being decent human beings.
We had children there who had just lost their mother, and we had a husband who just lost his wife, and to have this on top, it was almost overwhelming.
I'll meet a young woman whose life is disrupted when scammers pretend to be her. So this is an account that you had nothing to do with.
No, I didn't even know it existed.
You didn't know it existed. And would you give money to a charity scammer in the street? So if she was standing there with a contactless thing, you would have touched...
Yeah.
Without doing any background work?
No, I don't have enough time to do that.
Welcome to our Scam HQ. In this hub, we are trying to analyse and look at every single scam we can come across that shows us what scammers are up to. How are they finding new ways to get hold of your cash? So stay tuned to make sure that you don't get caught out. One of the simplest things you can do to stop scams in their tracks is talking about them. And we're particularly grateful to the hundreds of you who've contacted us by email and WhatsApp to share your stories. In this series, we've encountered lots and lots of really good people, nice people, people who will go out of their way to help others, to give to charity. And I'm really sad to say that those are the kind of people that scammers absolutely love. And that's what Grace, a disability advocate from East London, found out when scammers cashed in on her good name. 21-year-old Grace is an up-and-coming star on TikTok. She has more than 1.3 million followers who watch her videos about her daily life with cerebral palsy.
Me? Sarcastic? Oh no, I would never!
Right. This is where the magic happens. In the TikTok studio. Also your bedroom.
Yes.
What have you got in mind? What makes a good TikTok video?
Even got a cliffhanger.
A cliffhanger?
Yeah, or something funny.
Grace tries to post a new video every single day. Today, she'll be doing a popular activity on TikTok.
I know something you don't. I know something you will never know.
Creatively lip-syncing to the audio from someone else's post.
I know something you will never know.
And turning it into a witty commentary about her own life. Now, why do people like doing this?
I know something you don't.
Well, I don't really know.
I know something you will never know.
At any rate, she's roped me in to help. We've got the light.
And then press start countdown.
Start countdown. 3, 2.
I know something you don't. I know something you will never know.
Did we do it? Yeah. Oh, it's starting again. Okay, we've done it. So, how long does it take you to do a TikTok video?
About 2 hours, depending on what editing it involves.
It's a lot of work, but that work has raised at least £6,000 for charity. It also makes money for Grace. Her videos have become so popular that TikTok now pays her for posts that do well on the platform. Her first post of this mishap at the gym racked up more than 10 million views.
I thought this was my sign to start educating people on my disability, start raising awareness for cerebral palsy, and then within a year I got 500,000 followers, and then I hit 1 million.
It's amazing.
Grace has a presence on various platforms, with the notable exception of Facebook, because, well, it's just not what the kids do. But her absence from the world's most popular social media site left an opening for a scammer who created an account in Grace's name.
When was the first time you found out that someone was actually using your content to scam people?
That account was in action 2 years before I found out.
So this is an account that you had nothing to do with.
No.
But this account was pretending to be you.
Yeah.
All the content that you were making for TikTok,
Yeah.
they were using that on the Facebook account.
This has become a common tactic for scammers. Steal the content of someone popular and use that to bait more victims.
How did you find out about the page?
Oh, I just Googled myself.
You were Googling yourself, were you? You went, hang on a minute, I don't have a Facebook.
Yeah,
I don't have a Facebook page. So when you found out about the Facebook page, did you contact Meta?
Yeah, I reported it like up to 20 times a day, and I never got a response.
No response?
No.
Unfortunately, the scammer's tactics worked. Grace's stolen posts on Facebook received an outpouring of love and sympathy from compassionate people. And that's where the real scam began.
And then they signed up to create a fund.
A fund?
Yeah. So that is where people can send them gifts. Like money.
So people...
But I'm not getting them money.
No, because this isn't your page.
Yeah.
But people were thinking, I like her content,
Yeah.
I want to give to her fund.
Yeah.
And it was going to scammers.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money they took?
No. I wish I did. I found out they're in America.
They were in the US?
Yes.
We should also mention that you're earning a living through TikTok.
That's my full-time job.
So when this whole thing happened, did it affect your job?
Yeah, I stopped posting for 3 months.
Grace realized that all of her content was being stolen by the scammers. So the only way to stop them was to stop making content for them to steal. But that came at a cost.
So how much money did you lose out?
Around couple thousand.
Couple of £1,000?
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Worse, because Grace stopped posting, her popularity on TikTok declined. So when she started up again, her posts had fewer views. And that means they earn less money for her and the good causes she supports.
From what I understand, if you stop posting for 3 months,
It dropped.
it drops
And then I got to start.
you've got to build it all back up again.
And I'm still building it up.
You're still building it.
Yeah.
Scammers are already doing tremendous damage to campaigners like Grace and the charities they support, just by simply copying and pasting their content.
I know something you will never know.
But now there's a devious new way to impersonate charities and the celebrities who help them.
The biggest problem we have is identifying who's on the other end of that email, that voice call, or that text message. But things are about to get a little trickier. Why? Artificial intelligence. AI tools available to scammers nowadays mean that they can send very convincing messages to try and gain our trust.
But just how easy is it to create a convincing AI deepfake video? Well, one person who should know is tech expert Jake Moore from the global digital security firm ESET.
You've been looking into this, and would you say that we have hit the point now where things are becoming really difficult to distinguish between the fake stuff and the real stuff?
Absolutely. So AI, it's able to take someone's face, someone's voice, and it can recreate it to make it look like that person has said or has done anything. So I've even been able to clone myself. I've been able to fool people that are very close to me. Even my mum couldn't tell the difference.
So we want to try something.
Okay.
Because we want to kind of show how good this technology is and actually how easy it is. So you've offered to do something terrible to me.
Well,
you've offered to clone me.
Yeah.
So what are you going to need?
I could just go to YouTube and collect some footage of you. I mean, you're out there. That would be rather easy to do. But I thought, why not show it from the very start? If I could film you for just a couple of minutes,
okay,
I should then be able to use that footage and manipulate it into saying anything that I want it to say.
That's all you need? 2 minutes of me just talking?
Yeah.
Babbling on?
Yeah.
I can do that.
So if you're ready, I'll click record in 3, 2...
So the first time I met Jake, so those are the kind of things that Jake and I speak about, but I can't wait to see what he's going to do with my face now.
Brilliant.
There we go.
You really can talk, can't you?
I do can.
Before I can finish my next sentence, Jake has the footage uploaded onto a website that can create realistic computer-generated videos.
We're going to submit that, and now your video is uploading.
Great. I'm so excited to see what you're going to make me do and say.
Coming up, Jake unveils Alexis 2.0.
That's scary. I said none of those things.
But first, here's a quiz for you. What percentage of charities were victims of fraud in 2024? Was it 26%, 42%, or a whopping 84%? Find out the answer after the break. Before the break, I asked you what percentage of charities were victims of fraud in 2024. And the answer is 42%. Tech expert Jake Moore has gone away and produced an AI-generated deepfake video of me. He's now brought his handiwork to Scam HQ.
Show me what you've been doing.
Let's have a look.
Hey everyone, if you know me, you know I love a bit of magic and digging into the world of scams, and today I have a little announcement for you. So I'm officially joining TikTok. I've read your comments on social media for me to get on this app. If you want to get wiser to classic cons or just want to pick up a few of my favourite moves, follow me on TikTok.
So, you're joining TikTok?
That's scary. I said none of those things. None of those things came out of my mouth. Is there, let me just pause it there. What's amazing about this is that it has my mannerisms, my hand movements, my shoulders going up.
Yeah, so basically the software has only really played around with your mouth movements.
Right.
So all those movements of your shoulders and your head, that was in the original video that you did for me.
How long did this process take?
All in all, I'd say about an hour. But if I were to do it again, now I've created the template for you, the next one that I could make would be slim right down just to about a minute or two.
Do you need any skills at all to do this?
Not really.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Jake could have made that video of me when our cameras weren't rolling and this whole thing is actually a fake. Well, he made a second version too.
大家好，如果你认识我，你就知道我喜欢一点摸着和深入研究骗局。今天我有一个小公告要告诉你们，所以我正式加入 TikTok。我在社交媒体上看到了你们让我使用这个应用的评论，所以我来了。
All I caught there was TikTok. Was that Mandarin?
Yeah.
Was it? That's incredible.
Yeah. That's the same script as before.
But just in Mandarin?
Yeah.
So what are we saying to people? Is it, don't believe your eyes and ears anymore?
You know, we've just got to start questioning things. It's when something happens like an instruction to give information away or to move money, that's when we should really be taking a step back and thinking, why should they be doing this? And let's verify as much as we can.
So this could say, hi, I'm Alexis Conran. I've discovered a wonderful cryptocurrency that is guaranteed to triple your money. Click on this link below, and I promise you that you're going to be making thousands of pounds a week, every week. That's the problem.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
This has happened many times before, and people will and do fall for this.
Yeah. You have to start using your gut instinct to say, hang on, is this likely?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Go with your gut instinct.
请在 TikTok 上关注我。
Now, when I heard about this next scam, I was lost for words. I am used to scammers targeting the most vulnerable and weakest in our society, but this is just on another level.
As Connor from Lisbon in Northern Ireland discovered, scammers now target charity donations made by grieving families in the midst of funerals.
My sister was kind of part mother and was very supportive of me growing up. I stayed with her, spent a lot of time with her. And then I guess as I grew up, with lots of kind of great nights out, celebrations, went to parties together. We also fought like cat and dog. So it was a multifaceted relationship. She was diagnosed in August of 23 with stage 4 bladder cancer. And I guess we knew then that unfortunately there wasn't going to be a cure. She became very unwell pretty quickly. It was a kind of downward spiral. So all in all, she had 6 weeks from diagnosis to the day she died.
Vicky was 44 years old. As well as Connor, she left behind her husband Robert and their 2 young children. On the day she died, the family turned to David Jess at Ronnie Thompson Funeral Directors.
So here we are. This is the room that we hold the funeral service. Here at the front is where the coffin rests.
As with most aspects of life these days, the internet forms an integral part of the funeral arrangements.
This is a bit that no one really ever gets to see. This is what happens behind the scenes.
Services can even be live streamed for family and friends who can't make it in person.
David said to me, he said, look, this will go on social media, the Funeral Times. And I said, great. You know, the more people that will know, the better. And I remember collapsing basically in bed that night, absolutely exhausted.
Unfortunately, it wasn't just friends and family who found out about Vicky's funeral.
Early the next morning, I had come into work and, as you do, turn on the computer and then have a look at the social media. So as I scrolled through the comments, there was a number made by this person acting as the husband of the deceased, asking for help with financial expenses. So these messages, they were just slotted in around other genuine sympathy messages.
Scammers often find targets via social media posts, like funeral notices. Taking advantage of Vicky's generous friends and family, they went begging for fraudulent charitable donations. David reached out to Connor to break the news.
He said, look, I have some bad news. Somebody has been impersonating Robert. I assume this isn't Robert in terms of asking for these donations. And, I could categorically say, absolutely not.
David deleted all the fake charity posts, but that was just the scammer's opening act.
Just a day or so before the service, we became aware that friends of the deceased were being contacted with a fake Facebook page, and that contained a link to a live stream service. Attached to that live stream link was a comment that was requesting a payment for the live stream, and that's something that, that we don't do. A link is provided free of charge.
There was a level of embarrassment, actually. I was embarrassed to say to people that this is what somebody has done, you know, trying to use my family's kind of heartache as their springboard to do this scam.
Short time before the service, that fake profile seemed to change a little bit. It was saying that the live stream was now free to view, but while family and friends were waiting on the service commencing, they could enter their bank details, their card details, and make a donation to the family's nominated charity.
Of course, the family's preferred charity, Northern Ireland Hospice, didn't see a penny of the donations made via that link. That money went straight to the scammers.
If I was in this situation, I might have donated 10, 20 pounds to a charity, thinking it was going to a good cause, or you know, if I thought that I needed to pay a fee to watch a live stream, I might have done that.
Incredibly, this is now an increasingly common scam on social media. These posts all bear the hallmarks: poor spelling, limited details about the deceased, and no mention of a funeral director. Responsible funeral directors in the UK will never ask for money to watch a live stream, and charity donations should go either straight to them or to the charity's own website. There's one other disturbing trend here.
Usually it's a young person's funeral that is targeted, with a family that is very much familiar with social media, and therefore there's a lot of online activity, and that gives the scammer a lot of substance to work with, and the fake profiles just seem to be there indefinitely now. We've seen them as much as maybe 10 or a dozen times, and each one has been stolen from the family's own genuine page.
Despite doing all they could to warn loved ones and shut the scam down, no one is sure about how much money the scammers got away with.
I was livid that this was A, allowed to take place, and B, was taking place. And then I felt completely deflated that this is one of the most difficult times of my life in terms of what we were trying to deal with. You know, we had children there who had just lost their mother, and we had a husband who had just lost his wife, we had family members devastated. And to have this on top, it was almost overwhelming. But we were resolute as family and friends that no scammer was going to derail us from celebrating the life of somebody we love so dearly.
Coming up, the scammer's taking advantage of a mother's charity for her own kids.
She's going to me, I've lent you money. And I'm like, you've lent me nothing. I don't know what you're going on about.
But first, do you know the answer to this one? How much money did scammers divert from charities in 2023? Is it 2.7 million, 10.4 million, or 1.4 million? Find out after the break. Before the break, I asked you how much money did scammers divert from charities in 2023? And the answer is £2.7 million.
Now, in this episode, we've been focusing on scammers taking advantage of people online for their generosity. But don't forget, a lot of these scams actually happen face to face. So what would you do if you were approached by someone in the street asking to collect for charity?
Hi, sir. Do you have 2 minutes to help? Would you want to scan this QR code to help endangered animals?
Scammers love nothing more than preying on the kindness of others. Very often their scams are dressed up as charities. And this is what we're going to put to the test today.
Our two intrepid volunteers look a bit like charity collectors. Angelica is dressed as a stereotypical high street fundraiser, high-vis jacket, a lanyard, and a clipboard. Charlie is wearing, well, a dinosaur costume. But they are deliberately not referring to any specific charity or even using the word charity. In short, they could be anybody. All they have is a vague message asking for support. And that popular scammers tool, a QR code.
If you do scan that QR code, you're going to get this message. Now, no money is going to change hands, but we just want to see how easy it is for scammers to get their hands on your money in the middle of a busy street.
The initial hit rate is
Hiya. Do you have 2 minutes?
low.
Hi, would you two have a moment to scan this QR code to stop animal extinction? No, you're okay. No problem. Would you have a moment to just scan this? No?
But even though people have absolutely no idea where their so-called donations will go, they start scanning.
Let's go and speak to this lady now. Hiya. What's your name?
I'm Joe.
Do you scan quite a lot of QR codes?
I do scan quite a lot of QR codes.
Do you worry at all about where they might be taking you?
Kind of. Sometimes I'm a bit like, where's the data? But also at the same time, I'm a bit like naive.
So if the website was, we support families in need, please donate £5, would you have put your details in there?
Yeah, I do get a bit stopped at the station sometimes, and like if I'm in a mood, I'm like, okay.
Oh, but Joe, can you do me a favour?
Yes.
From today, you need to do like checks to who you're giving.
Yeah.
Deal?
Thank you, Lexus.
I used to work a job kind of similar to this for a bit, so then obviously when I see people outside doing the same thing, I try to support them.
Would you have donated money on the website? Put your personal details in? Be honest.
Maybe like if it was contactless or by cash, I might have done it.
Okay, so if she was standing there with a contactless thing, you would have touched...
Yeah.
Without doing any background work, if she was the real thing?
No, I don't have enough time to do that.
Oh, you've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to.
Well, this will make me worry for next time.
So far, people seem more willing to trust a random person in a high-vis jacket than a dinosaur. But just when poor Charlie looks in danger of extinction, she scores.
My name is Alex. What's your name?
Robert.
Tell me what just happened.
Well, the crocodile or whatever came up to
Dinosaur,
me.
Robert. Dinosaur. I mean, come on. Look at the effort. If you landed on the website and it said, for £5, you could help protect a rhino and its baby for a month, would you have entered your details in to help?
Possibly. Depends how convinced I am.
Right, so if the website looked convincing...
Yeah.
Well, it will like give you some information about the cause.
So we've only been here less than an hour and we've had quite a few people scan those QR codes. Now, these QR codes can take you onto any website. Those websites can be very, very convincing. And even if they just ask you to register your interest by putting in your name and your address, that data is useful to someone somewhere, and you shouldn't be giving it away to just anybody standing in the street holding a QR code. Now, you may think our stunt was a little bit far-fetched, but we got the idea from this guy. Meet David Levi from Lytham in Lancashire. For 5 years, he led a gang of scam charity collectors. Here he is, dressed as Pudsey the Bear from Children in Need, collecting money for himself. Now, the good news is that in December 2023, he was sent to prison for 5 years, and some of his accomplices also faced jail time. So the thing you need to remember is if you're approached online or in real life by anyone claiming to collect for charity, you need to stop and think, is this a scam? When someone approaches you in the street asking for money and donations for charity, they need to be clearly identifiable as the charity that they're asking money for. So are they wearing a tabard or a jacket or a shirt, something with the charity's logo clearly visible?
As well as displaying the charity's name or logo, genuine fundraisers must also wear an ID card with their name and the charity's details.
Now, let's say you see all that, you want to donate, but you're just not quite sure. Get your phone out and open your browser. Type in search charity register. First hit you're going to get is the government website. And in here, you can search the charity that you're being asked to donate. Now, make sure you enter the exact name that you are being given on the street. So let's say, for example, I am going to be RSPCA. Let's see what we get. 188 matches. So for example, here we go. RSPCA Devon branch. What's really important is right here, contact information. If you click that, then it takes you to the website. So go to their actual website, which is right here, and donate of the website. That way, you can make sure your money gets to the right people and you can have peace of mind. In 2023, 3/4 of us were giving to some sort of charity, amounting to £14 billion given to charities across the country and across the world. Now, they say that charity begins at home, and that number doesn't even begin to describe the generosity shown amongst friends and family.
That's what Maureen from Liverpool discovered. Scammers are more than willing to take advantage of the charity parent show to their children.
They asked me to transfer money to them.
These days, Maureen lives alone with her rescue pug Benji and her 2 cats, Mimi and Oscar.
That's a good boy.
Her constant companions in life. But family is very important to her, as I found out when I paid her a visit.
Hi, Maureen. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much.
Okay, let's meet the family.
That was my husband, George, and me. That's right by the Sydney Opera House.
The Opera House. How long ago were you there?
That was in 2015.
George died in 2021, and sadly, Maureen rarely sees her 2 daughters. One lives in Australia, the other in Canada.
This is Jenny, and this is in Newfoundland, and it was freezing cold.
And that's you in Canada?
That's in Halifax, in Nova Scotia.
And this is where Jenny lives now?
This is where Jenny lives now.
Oh, lovely. Great family photos. I love these.
Although they're far away, Maureen is in constant contact with her girls, mostly via WhatsApp. In early 2022, she got a message that seemed to be from her daughter, Jenny.
She went back just before the new year, but she told me she was going to buy a laptop when she went back in the sales. The next thing is I get a message on the 30th of January to say that she'd got a new phone and this would be her new number. But a picture came up of Jenny with her husband on WhatsApp.
But it was her. You recognised her.
Yeah, it was Jenny with her husband.
That photo suggests this was not a random attack. The scammers were searching for a good target, and Maureen, recently bereaved with 2 daughters abroad, fit the bill. They gathered as much information as they could from the internet about Jenny, including that photo, and they made their move.
She wanted me to do her a favour. Could I transfer some money to an account? And she said, could I transfer the money to this man's name? Because she owed the money to him. And it was 1,800 and something. But to be honest, it wasn't unusual for her to ask me for a loan occasionally. And so for me, it seemed like she was just asking me for this money to be transferred because she'd bought what I thought she was going to buy, which was a laptop.
Scammers know it's hard to say no to our kids. Despite the clear red flags, Maureen found justification in her own mind for sending the money. So she did. And so the scammers asked for more.
And then the next thing is she said, oh, would you be able to do this transfer as well? And that was for 1,400 or something.
I think it's important now for people watching this to know that at that time, it was a very difficult time for you.
Yeah, it was just 2 months after I buried my husband. I hadn't even paid for his funeral and things, and I was just sitting here on my own in the house, missing my husband, missing my children. I feel like I was in some kind of tunnel of grief. I'm only really coming out of it now.
After a sleepless night fretting over how she would pay for George's funeral, Maureen messaged Jenny back about her worries.
I felt really nervous about it, and I even said to her about not having the money. It was money that, and I think I told her, it was for the funeral director.
But instead of the so-called new number the scammers gave her, she accidentally used the number she already had for Jenny, which turned out to be a brilliant idea. So how did that conversation go?
Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much for joining us.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Jenny told us herself via a somewhat juddery video call from Canada.
So it was like around 4:30 in the morning, and I got a text message saying, "So when are you giving me this money back?" And she's going to me, "I've lent you money," and I'm like, "You've lent me nothing. I don't know what you're going on about." Then she was going on about, "You've got a new number," and I was like, "I haven't got a new number."
I just felt that she was, I don't know, playing a joke on me, first of all.
Is that the kind of thing that Jenny would do? Kind of a joke around? Would she wind you up a bit?
Oh, she would wind me up, yeah, about things sometimes.
I am known to wind people up a bit. It's a trait I got from my dad.
What's going through your head?
When she said, "I haven't borrowed any money from you," that's when it occurred to me that I had been scammed, and I just went to pieces, to be honest.
I'm going to have to get on a plane and come back home and see if I can help or, do something, because I felt like she was quite vulnerable sitting there by herself.
How does it feel actually for you, Jenny? Because they actually pretended to be you. Not only that, but they also put a picture of you.
It made me quite vulnerable in the sense that someone could pretend to be me and scam my mum out of so much money. I remember texting friends just saying watch out, my mum's been scammed using my identity. Just be cautious.
Maureen also felt she had to be more careful from that point onwards.
It made me really security conscious. You'll notice I've got good security system in the house. I've got lights, I've got cameras, so I can see if anyone's about, because it made me feel that I was almost getting attacked.
Since this has happened, have you and Jenny made any arrangements, perhaps?
Yeah, we've got a keyword that we say.
It's very good to hear, Maureen. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, we've got keywords.
You'll know that if you ask each other what's the password, you'll be able to send it.
Coming up, a fraudster tries the mum and dad scam on us.
I need to pay £2,744 in total.
What is going on?
Before the break, a little quiz. Which of the following are illegal for genuine charity collectors? Standing in the door of a station, approaching people sat on benches, or following people down the street? Find out after the break. Before the break, I asked you which of these are illegal for genuine charity collectors. And the answer is all of them. Official fundraisers should never do any of these things, so if they do, walk away.
Now, in our quest to bring you the very latest scams, we have created these 5 what we call scam betas. These are people who don't exist, but they have names, they have images created by AI, they have social media platforms, and most importantly, they have numbers and email addresses by which they can be contacted by scammers. Now, I want to draw your attention to Alex, because not so long ago, he received a message on his phone saying, "Hi, Mum, I've changed my number." Now, firstly, Alex is a man, and also he's not real. So we're pretty sure he doesn't have children. So we knew we were talking to a scammer, and we thought we'd have a little bit of fun. So I invite you to sit back, grab yourself some popcorn, and enjoy some scam amateur dramatics, or scam am dram.
For your viewing pleasure, we will be reenacting word for word a genuine WhatsApp chat between our team and a scammer. I shall take on the role of the handsome young Alex and playing the scammer in his television debut, Zach.
Take it away.
Hi, Mum. Are you okay? I've had to get a new number.
Oh, hi, hun. Everything okay?
I've got a debt. I need to pay today, but I've blocked my accounts being an idiot. And I forgot my passwords. If I send you the details, can you pay it for me? I can pay you back.
I don't understand. What debt? How much is it?
I'll be honest, it's quite an awful lot. I need to pay £2,744 in total.
What is going on?
I know, I'm such an idiot for getting myself into such a situation.
What situation?
I borrowed the money a while ago through a friend when I was in a rough spot, which I know is stupid. I should have asked just for, help.
Who? Which friend of yours has got 2,000 quid knocking around?
Are we gonna go into all of this right now? Sad face emoji.
But if you want my help, we bloody well are.
For God's sake!
You know I'm always there for you, but I'm quite angry just now. I can't believe you got yourself in this situation. Who is this person you borrowed it from? How do I contact them? Hun, if I'm going to repay this debt, I need to know where their money is going. Now, at this point, we got a whole bunch of details. We've got a name, we've got a sort code, an account number, a reference saying overdue 32, and the total amount was £2,744 and 0 pence.
Of course, we never sent this scammer a penny, but before ending the chat, we had a little go at catching him out.
OMG! I completely forgot to ask, which child are you?
It's your first and favourite, lol.
Of course. There must be nothing worse than to discover that whilst you're trying to help a close family member, you're actually handing money over to a scammer. But there are things that you can do to protect yourself, and it only takes 3 simple steps. First up, we have ring. First thing to do, ring the number you have saved on your phone for that loved one. The scam can be dead in its tracks the moment they pick up the phone. You say, "Did you just change your number and send me a message about it?" They go, "No, that wasn't me." Scam's finished right there. So do not call the number that you were given. Call the number you've always used. Next up, we have details. Try and get something that only you and they would know or remember. Something like a name of a pet or a specific holiday, something that you would both know about. Now, do also remember that if you're one of those oversharers on social media, that information might already be out there. So it is a very good idea to try and set up a password for you and your nearest and dearest. You would ask for the password, scammer won't know it, scam is dead in its tracks. And finally, bank. So this is very simple. If you're being asked to send money to an account you have never ever used before, then stop and think. And I would say do not do so until you've spoken in person to your nearest and dearest.
What became of the scam victims we featured in this episode?
Maureen lost around £3,000 when she thought she was sending money to her daughter to buy a new laptop over the mum and dad WhatsApp scam. Now, the good news is she got her money back from her bank, and she's now set up a passphrase that her and her daughters use if they're ever in doubt that they are talking to each other. Grace, the lovely Grace, even though she wasn't out of pocket, she did lose out on income because she couldn't post content on her social media accounts. Now, the good news is that fraudulent website asking people to donate to Grace has been taken down. We don't know how much money it generated, but hopefully it will remain down. And also the good news is that Grace is back online making her great content.
As for Connor, though he didn't lose any money himself, he doesn't know how many people fell for the scam charity links set up in his sister's name. He sought help from both Meta and the police to trace the identity of the scammers, but so far, none have been identified. Have you been scammed? Do you have a tip for us? Then please go to channel5.com, take part. That's channel5.com/take-part and get in touch.